Remembrance Day. Long live and prosper. Hello, everybody. Usually I put these reviews out on Thursday, Friday at the latest, but I have been really sick this week. For those of you who who follow the Star Trek Deep Space Nine reviews that I do every week on this very channel, so like and subscribe if you like Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You know how messed up I was on Wednesday night. That was kind of insane. But thankfully, my co host Pete held it down. So I was really anxious to do a review about this episode because, good Lord, Memento Mori, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, written by David Perez and Bio de Mayo and directed by Dan Liu. I usually do this at the beginning of the Deep Space Nine episodes because I want to give credit to these writers, and I've never done it for the new Trek, but this episode deserves it because, good Lord, was this some good Star Trek. It was wonderful. And I'm sure you've all seen it because I've been in all the groups. I love all my Trek groups. Thank you, administrators, who let me post. And it begins pretty much like innocuous. It's Starfleet Remembrance Day, which I thought was a nice thing to show on the series because we don't always I don't think we've ever had that in earlier series unless like a big character dies. Yes, we have the funeral or the services for Tasha Yar and Dax and of course Spock in Wrath of Khan, but we don't get that much, like all the red shirts that have died throughout the series. We don't always get that view of how many people, the toll of losing members of your crew. So I thought that was a nice touch. That was kind of cool. And La'an, she's not with it though. She's like, I don't need to remember anything. She's the hard case of this series, the one that does not show any emotions, who is suffering from some serious PTSD. And somebody in one of the groups this week said something about how, I'm really enjoying this show. I just don't like La'an because she doesn't smile and she's so serious. And everybody took this person to town. Thank you, guys. I'm so happy when I read comments like this so I don't have to comment because everybody was on point in saying, good Lord, I hope that you never have anybody in your life that goes through some serious trauma. And sometimes serious trauma is just being held up at gunpoint, getting mugged, being in a car accident. This woman saw her entire family die. If she didn't see it, she experienced it, because she was running. And her own brother, sacrificed himself for her. How do you think she would feel? Come on, some comments that you read. And especially sometimes, if you go down that whole, it's usually with the women that you get this comment, Same thing with Michael Burnham is the opposite. She's too emotional, but it's the same thing. Guys, I will admit, and if you've ever seen any of my Star Trek Discovery reviews, that sometimes they overdo it with Burnham and the crying, especially season 3. I could have sworn she cried for at least 3 or 4 episodes in a row, and there was one episode that I think there was even like a little mark on her face from the tears. And yes, it got to be a bit too much, even for me. But I got nothing against Michael Burnham showing feelings because she's been, again, through a lot. She grew up on Vulcan. She's a human that repressed her emotions, and now they're all coming out, and they're crazy, and they're weird, and they're all over the place. And I love that about Discovery. And we're going to talk a little bit about Discovery at the end of this video, so stick around. But this episode starts out kind of, like I said, innocuous. You don't know what's going down. They have to deliver some atmospheric processor to a Federation colony at Phoenix 3. But when they get there, the colony's gone, and then all hell breaks loose. And this episode does not let you go for 1 second. It was incredible. Because who do they meet there? Spoilers, by the way, for anybody that hasn't watched this episode. It seems like everybody and their grandmom has watched this episode already. They run into the Gorn. Okay, so that's why La'an was the focus there at the beginning, because she had that experience with the Gorn and she survived. And I would love to get more flashbacks on that. How exactly did she survive that? Because that looked pretty intense. I know there's a connection there with Una. Did Una help her at some point, or she found her? I don't know. Maybe I missed it. I know there's so much that goes on that sometimes we do miss like little lines of dialogue here and there. So if anybody knows, if I missed it, just drop it in the comments. But I wouldn't mind seeing more of that backstory, and I wouldn't mind seeing some of these Gorn because canon, the canon gatekeepers they're a little upset because they're like, well, Kirk mentioned that they had never run into any Gorn before in the episode Arena, which is an absolute classic. One of the first Star Trek episodes I think I remember watching, like from childhood memories. Those repressed memories that I have. Definitely, the Gorn episode and the Horta episode, which is actually my favorite Star Trek episode of all time. The pain, and of course the name escapes me. What is the Horta episode of Star Trek? Horta, Star Trek. It is The Devil in the Dark. There you go. Don't we love Google? So I love the Gorn like everybody else loves the Gorn. They're so cute, but so deadly and vicious and horrible. And I love that Star Trek Strange New Worlds has really made them that big threat. I mean, this was as scary and as unbeatable of a foe as the Borg. Not Strange New Worlds. That's best of both worlds. We got a lot of worlds going on. So thank you to these writers for being able. Congratulations to these writers for being able to take this very campy alien creature and making them really damn scary, okay? Because they are a spacefaring alien civilization, so they're out there in space. You might run into them, and they hunt in space like they would hunt in, I don't know, in the desert or wherever these aliens, these reptilian type aliens like to chill. So very cool. Not going to get into all the details of everything that happens in this episode, other than the Enterprise is ambushed. It's a trap when they arrive at this colony, and the ship is badly damaged, and Pike has to do everything in his power to just keep his crew alive, and it requires a lot of running away. Okay, this is really, really cool how they managed to make an episode so tense where the Enterprise is just about running. And I like that every time that they thought they had found a solution or thought that they had gotten an advantage, boom, something worse happened. Like Pike's the maneuver there where he dropped a torpedo on top of. That was awesome, man. Oh, there's this great scene as Pike when he's sitting on the chair. And he's like, drop it or hit it, or I forgot what it is that he said, but man, I loved this Pike because one thing that I haven't been too fond of for Strange New Worlds thus far is how chummy it is and kind of jokey it is. And we do have a few jokes still in this episode that go down in very tense situations. I guess Pike is the type of captain that'll let that go. I don't know. For me, it takes me a little bit off, the vibe of the show, which is a little bit more Starfleety than in Discovery. Like I can accept it in Discovery because Discovery is just insane, which is what I love about Discovery. It's just insanity. But in Strange New Worlds, Pike being a little bit more mature, he's an older gentleman. Spock, obviously, with the logic, Una is very serious. And then some of the jokes that come out of nowhere, I'm like, where did that come from? So this episode, I liked that Pike was 100% serious, like the whole way through. And he showed this command leadership that I don't think I haven't seen yet. Not to this level. He's a great commander. I hope you understand what I mean by that. He's an awesome commander, awesome captain, all the way back from when he was introduced in season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. But for me, this is the episode where he showed his full muster, like under, like this is it. I was expecting the usual Star Trek trope of start self-destruct sequence. Star Trek loves to do their self-destruct sequence. Or did they do a self-destruct in this episode? I don't believe they did. I know they were prepared for hand-to-hand combat. I mean, guys, there was so much that happened here. So much that happened that I probably will have to watch this episode again. But really unbelievable, cool stuff that it could have been a movie. It could have been a feature-length movie, and I would have paid all my reais, because I'm in Brazil, dollars, whatever, to watch this on the big screen. Now, is this the best Star Trek? I was watching another YouTuber out there, very big YouTuber, Steven Shives, which I love, and he said it's the best Star Trek episode in the last 20 years. That seems to be the general consensus around the web. Is it the best Star Trek single episode? I think yes. I would say yes. It definitely is, because it gave us in that 1 hour character moments. It was able to breathe. It gave us breathing room, because there's a whole, the situation is the ship is busted up. So there's stuff going on in the medical bay, where they have to triage everybody. The equipment is down. They have some stuff you saw there, like using old school needles to sew people up. Uhura and Hemmer are stuck in I guess it's a cargo bay or something. They just get stuck down there, which that part, that was probably the weakest link for me. Because we've seen that before. Actually, I've just seen it before, because I'm watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and there was the episode where Bashir and O'Brien go to this planet to destroy the last of this biological weapon, except that before they destroy the last one, they can, and they're all on a run. But O'Brien gets infected, and they've got to fix this some communication device before these people show up. So he has to walk Bashir through how to do this. So I had just seen this before, so I guess that's why it wasn't that exciting for me. And that was done way better, because we got some real deep insight into O'Brien, marriage, and it built the relationship between these two characters a little bit more. This episode, the interaction between Uhura and Hammer, I believe, was working towards that, but I don't think it did it as well because of how standoffish Hammer is. I guess he opened up a little bit towards the end, but I just didn't feel like these two characters gelled in the same way that Bashir and O'Brien, two characters that hated each other, or at least O'Brien hated Bashir, were able to gel after that episode, and it became, the seeds of that great bromance that the two of them have throughout the rest of the series. So that was, for me, the weakest link, and also because I'm just not feeling this Uhura yet. And I see some people in the Facebook groups also haven't been feeling her yet. Wonderful actress, wonderful, it's a cool character. It's just, I understand that it's 10 years before Uhura, that we all know and love, but it just doesn't feel like even 10 years before Uhura. It just feels like it's a different character. And she's very green, obviously. Something's got to mature her a little bit and get her to that next level to make me think, oh, this is the future of Starfleet, future Captain Uhura, okay, of Gods and Men, which I was watching the other day. So maybe that's why I didn't like those scenes that much. The stuff in the medical bay was okay. Una was severely injured, and there's this whole thing about, give my plasma to somebody else because, I'll be okay. She gets a blood transfusion from Makembe. Did I say spoilers at the beginning? Spoilers. Which did make me wonder, because she's not human. Can she just receive blood from somebody else like that? I don't know. The stuff that matters, which is 80%, it's the bulk of this episode. So they didn't spend too much time in these other scenes or these other parts of the ship, is Pike just trying everything possible in believing in that Enterprise. And this is the first episode I was like, the Enterprise, I love the Enterprise. Oh my God, I love my Enterprise. This is the first episode where I felt like she can take it. Believe in the Enterprise. Believe in her. That was very Captain Kirk-ish. But, I'll give Pike his dues, because Kirk's in love with that ship. He knows that ship can make it. But Pike believes it too, so this is the famed Enterprise who can make it. So I think it is incredible. I think it is very cool. And some folks did say, about the canon, that Kirk probably wouldn't know about everything that the Enterprise has been through. This is a pretty heavy battle, man. I would think that, Kirk would have read up on it. It's not that far in the past from when Kirk takes over the ship. So, but I don't care. I'm just not a canon head. I'm not a canon gatekeeper. I things need to get retconned, guys. Things need to get retconned if we want to move Star Trek into the next century and have new fans and have young fans. So this is an episode that I can show to my little cousin, and he might actually get interested in, and then maybe go back and watch the slower paced Star Trek of yesteryear. So big ups for that, for getting young people into Trek and interested in Trek, and willing to go back. Those old shows will always be there. That old style Trek will always be there. So this here was, it's new Trek. It's exciting. It's full of special effects. It's fast paced, but it managed, and I think this is where this episode becomes one of the best new episodes of Star Trek from the new generation of Star Trek, because it manage to balance the human drama in those human moments, in those quiet moments. We had a moment where everybody was just sitting in the ready room and trying to figure stuff out. We need that, and everybody was calm, and everybody just did their job. So it's very Starfleet-ish, and it works. Okay. Which is not to say, again, it is so crappy to have to always repeat this, because, you can like one show without shitting on another. And I still love me my Star Trek Discovery. That's still my favorite of the new Treks. So I can't wait to have more Star Trek Discovery back, which gets me to the final part of this video, which is what does Star Trek Discovery do? Season 5, because the writing team over there in Star Trek Discovery, I'm sure they're sitting there, very happy for the success of Strange New Worlds, but at the same time thinking, or has the new child here, what do you call it? Has it surpassed Star Trek Discovery? Has this new Strange New Worlds, that's a new Star Trek show, all of a sudden overshadowed what Star Trek Discovery is? And for me, no, it hasn't. Star Trek Discovery is its own little bit of magic. I wasn't super hot on all of season 4. I enjoyed it, and I think it lost a little bit of the plot in the middle, but then it came back and it was absolutely incredible. Season 3 was the opposite. I was into that all the way, till about 3 episodes to the end, where then it definitely lost the plot. It was not a very good end to season 3. But what does Star Trek Discovery do, though, with this information? With this love that Strange New Worlds has? It continues being Star Trek Discovery. I really, really, really hope that, because of all the people out there that are saying, oh, I'm so glad we get episodic Star Trek again. Oh, I'm so glad this is more, it's closer to the original. It's closer to the original formula. I I hope Star Trek Discovery doesn't like get watered down because of that. Because one of the things that makes Star Trek Discovery so cool is the fact that it's insane. I love the insanity. And, single episode, is this the best single episode of Star Trek in a very, very long time? I would say yes, but it doesn't come near the greatness that was season two. And that's the thing, you can't compare episode for episode when it comes to Strange New Worlds and Discovery. But season two of Star Trek Discovery was incredible, and it wasn't just because Pike was there; it's because the whole cast, the storyline, it was tight, man. It was tight, tight, tight. That was such a cool season. I've never been that pumped watching a season of Star Trek. Well, the last time I was that pumped when I was watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which I'm doing the rewatch reviews now. And I watched that maybe 6 years ago, but that came out in what, 95, 96. I'm talking one of the later seasons. I can't remember which one it was now that, the episode would end and I would just press play on the other one. It was either season 5 or 6. Who knows? One of the greatest seasons of Star Trek ever in Deep Space Nine. But the other time that I've been that excited for an entire season of Star Trek was Star Trek Discovery. Season 2, incredible. And season 1 was pretty good too, although the last, it just started out a little slow. The last episode was kind of bad. Star Trek Discovery is fine. Now, what I like that Star Trek Discovery did tweak is that, one, it did calm down the frenetic pace a little bit. But that can create a little bit of imbalance, and I think that's what people felt in season 4, where it was trying to do these little side ventures while there's this big galactic problem going on, and it's just an imbalance. So I do not mind Star Trek Discovery being insane. I hope that it continues to be insane. And I hope it continues to be serialized, because that's such a cool thing about Star Trek Discovery. I love that it's serialized, although, and it's one of the things that doesn't turn me on as much about episode or Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Okay, the fact that it's episodic. Somebody's just buzzed at my door. I don't know who it is. Maybe it was for the neighbor by mistake. So I'm going to stick around just a little bit more. Yeah, it was for my neighbor. Anyway, so because for me, the first 3 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds was kind of like boldly going where I've been before, just kind of retcon, revamped, modern, and it's enjoyable as hell. But it's stuff I've seen already. I like Discovery taking those chances, sometimes falling flat on its face and falling ugly. When you see those people take like 10 steps before they, sometimes it's like that with Star Trek Discovery, but it's fine because I like that it takes those chances, and I like that it's emotional, and it's dealing with trauma, and it's dealing with grief, and it's dealing with all these things that Star Trek hasn't completely dealt with that much, except for Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But even then, it's such a long season that it would be broken up with sometimes, the Ferengi episode, the Mirror Universe episode, the Anomaly of the Week. Even in the middle of all the Dominion War stuff, we'd have to have a little side venture. And the shorter season for Star Trek Discovery allows for that stuff to be really compacted and impactful and special for that reason. So I say all of this to say I'm enjoying the hell out of Strange New Worlds. This was definitely, very many notches above episodes 1, 2, and 3. Really got me pumped up. Hopefully, next episode, the ship won't be all perfect. That would be really cool. That'll be an interesting way to have the episodic with the fact that they are acknowledging, hey, stuff happened before, which is different than TNG, TOS, Enterprise, Voyager. So it'd be cool if we saw, the aftermath. Next episode could be the aftermath of what's going on and the ship getting fixed, and they're out, on some planet or something on while the ship is getting fixed. That would be kind of cool. But the episodic, I hope that because this works for Strange New Worlds, that Discovery doesn't feel the need to change their formula that much. What they did for season 3 and 4, I thought was a good change as far as having those little side mission type episodes here and there, but with the overarching conflict, that's fine. But you just gotta stuff like that. You gotta keep it tight. It's hard enough to keep one long thread going for a whole season. Especially 16 episodes. It's okay if it's like 6 or 8 episodes, but 12 to 16 episodes. It's tough to keep one long storyline going. They managed to do it in season 2. There's only one episode in season 2 that I don't like, which is the Klingon one. I think it's episode 3, but they just got to find that balance to be able to do that and not make it seem so far from, hey, this is the main thing that we got to deal with, the main threat that we have to deal with. But I hope it just doesn't lose its frenetic charm. That's what I love, and I think it's what a lot of people love about Star Trek Discovery. And yes, there's people that don't love it, and you don't have to love it. It's totally fine. There's people even today that don't like Voyager, don't like Deep Space Nine, don't like the original series for whatever reasons. You're not obligated to love everything in Trek. You're just not. Okay? But I hope that the show doesn't change what it is just to try to fit in a little bit more. Because, it gets boring. I don't want 2 shows on the air that are like almost carbon copies of each other. I want my Deep Space Nine that was airing right alongside Voyager, and they're completely opposite type of shows. And they both work on some level. I think Deep Space Nine is superior, but I enjoyed the hell out of Voyager once it got going, and I accepted it on its terms. Voyager is just that adventure of the week, and that talk about frenetic and insane. that was Voyager, and so that's my wish for the future. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I should have said that at the beginning. I still have a little bit of a cold. I'm gonna eat this really nice burger that I got in the other room, and I put it there purposely because I said I'm gonna make just a 10-minute video, and look at this, I'm going on half an hour. I got diarrhea of the mouth, but how can you not have diarrhea of the mouth when you got the new era of Star Trek? Star Trek is back. Officially back. It's been officially back for a couple of years, but it's so good to see all this happening. And it is a good feeling, though. I'm not going to lie. It is a good feeling to go in the groups and see so much positive stuff being said about this new show compared to Star Trek Discovery. That is divisive, but that's a minority. Out of 100 people, 5 are going to be really upset, maybe 10 on a bad day. And, that's a pretty good batting average if you ask me. So Discovery, don't change. I can't wait for season 5. And if it means another galactic, another end of the universe conflict, it is what it is. Although I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of like building the Federation back and visiting some worlds that we haven't seen in a while, like the Klingons. And I wonder what those Klingons are going to look like if they ever do show up on Strange New Worlds. No ridges or ridges? Anyway, or Discovery Klingons, which, okay, I'm not going to lie, that was kind of rough. Or they kind of rebooted them a little bit for season 2. They looked a little bit better. There's a little bit more variety of Klingons in season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. But anyway, let me get out of here, guys. It's my OCD. I want to end at 30 minutes exactly, but I don't think it's going to happen. So live long and prosper. like and subscribe to the channel. Tuesday nights, if I'm not sick again, it should be Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got some Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We're in season 2. Okay? And there you go. It's going to be 30 minutes exactly.